1-cent coins may seem ordinary, but a few ultra-rare pieces are worth a fortune. These elusive cents hold legendary status among collectors due to their rarity, historical significance, and minting errors. Here are the top 3 most ultra-rare 1-cent coins ever discovered. It's extremely unlikely that a normal 1980 for penny you found in your change is worth anywhere near to $6 million each. But that doesn't mean there aren't some rare 1980 for pennies that have significantly higher value than face value. Let's walk through what makes a 1980 for penny interesting, what error variety types to look for including the B-type errors you mentioned, what realistic value ranges are, and how to check your coins, in simple language. A coin from 1984 that simply says 1 cent and has normal wear is usually only worth face value, 1 cent, or maybe a few extra cents. For example, the standard 1980 for Lincoln Memorial Cent, no mint mark in Philadelphia, has a mintage of 8.151 billion coins. Because so many were made, most are common, and not highly valuable. But coin collectors pay attention to errors or varieties, how the coin was struck, whether the tool that stamps the coin made a mistake, or if something unusual happened in production. If you find one of these rare ones, value can shoot up. For 1984, one of the major collectible varieties is the doubled die-obverse DDO, often called the doubled ear variety. On this coin, part of Lincoln's ear, and sometimes the cheek, jaw, bow tie appears doubled, a sign that the die struck twice or shifted slightly between strikes. Because the error is visible to the naked eye, especially on the ear, it's popular among error coin hunters. PCGS. Now, about the B-era varieties worth for $1,000, $18,000, and even circulated examples worth $55,000 plus, you asked about. I could not find reliable documentation of 1980 for Lincoln cents with B, which typically refers to an error in the word liberty, where the B and E merge or show a break, being valued in that for $1,000, $18,000 range, or circulated examples worth $55,000 plus, instead. Some sources say circulated examples of the 1980 for DDO doubled ear might be worth $100 for $100 or a few $1,000s in very high grade. For example, one price guide shows MS65 road condition of the 1980 for DDO at $130, $160 for MS65 grade. A PCGS Coinfax listing for the 1980 for DDO shows an auction record of $3,910 for an MS68 example, PCGS. Some internet articles claim over $100,000 for the 1980 for doubled ear variety, if in top grade and certified. For example, one site mentions MS65 might fetch $100,000, $150,000. So realistically, the documented high-end values are thousands to tens of thousands, not hundreds of thousands or millions, and definitely not $6 million each in any reliably verified sale for 1980 for pennies that I found. Here's what to check if you want to inspect your 1980 for pennies and see if you might have something worth more than normal. Check the mint mark. On the front of the coin obverse, look under the date, 1984. If there is a D Denver or an S San Francisco proof version, that matters. If there's no mint mark, it's Philadelphia. Look at condition. A heavily worn coin, lots of scratches, worn design, faded date, is less likely to fetch much value. Coins in uncirculated state, no wear, or with original red copper color are more desirable. Check for the doubling. For the DDO doubled ear variety, look at Lincoln's right ear facing you on the coin. Do you see a second earlobe or shadow under the primary earlobe? Also check the bow tie beneath his jacket, the jawline, and the motto "In God We Trust." If they appear doubled as though a second impression is faintly visible, you could have the variety. Some doubling is subtle. Strong doubling is more valuable. Coin identifier. Check for other errors, anomalies. Other error types include off-center strikes, the design is shifted off the blank, clipped plankets, part of the coin blank is missing, wrong planchette, metal composition incorrect, die cracks or cuds, etc. While these can add value, they must be genuine minting errors, not damage after mint, and usually need good condition to matter. You believe you have a strong candidate, for example strong doubling, nice condition, no wear. You might have the coin graded by a professional grading service, such as PCGS or NGC. A graded coin gives collectors confidence and can fetch higher auction prices. Compare with recent sales. Just because an article says worth up to $100,000 doesn't mean a coin sold for that. Always check recent auction records, certified sales, and reference guides. For 1984 DDO coins, the highest certified sale I found was $3,910 in 2009 for MS68 grade. PCGS. Here are some realistic value ranges for 1980 for Lincoln Memorial cents. Circulation strike, with and without the doubling error, based on existing data. A regular 1980 for penny, circulated normal wear, basically face value 1 cent or a few cents. Coin trackers. A regular 1980 for penny in uncirculated grade, nice condition, but no major error. Maybe a few dollars up to tens of dollars, depending on color, demand, toning. A 1980 for penny with the DDO doubled-ear variety in decent grade raw, not certified, perhaps $100, $300 for moderate graded coins. For example, one guide says raw coins $80, $100 typically, penniverse. A 1980 for DDO double-ear certified and high-grade MS65, MS66 can reach hundreds to low thousands. One listing shows MS65 Road at $130, $160. Another shows MS67 Road at $450. Opening parenthesis coin value lookup.com. Extreme top grade certified examples, MS68 or higher could fetch a few $1,000s, for example $3,910 for MS68 Road. PCGS. It's important to emphasize, these are values for verified sales or guided estimates. They are not verification of millions of dollars being paid. Why do you sometimes see claims like worth up to $2.46 million each? Here are a few reasons for the discrepancy. Some websites use sensational headlines to attract clicks. They may say could be worth up to, rather than verified sale of. Some error coins could fetch large sums if they meet perfect condition plus verified provenance plus extremely limited supply plus collector competition. But could be is not the same as documented reality. For modern coins like 1984, even with errors, the supply is often larger than for very old Holy Grail coins. So the potential value ceiling is lower than those legends. Some fees, grading costs, certification, auction fees, and market demand all affect final sale price. Just identifying an error doesn't guarantee a huge payout. Here are some caution points. Just because you found a 1980 for penny with some weird look doesn't mean it's automatically valuable. Some errors are post-mint damage, someone scratched or clipped the coin later, or manufacturing oddities that aren't collectible. Orientation, surface condition, color matter a lot. A double die coin with tons of wear or damage is worth far less than a clean uncirculated one. Grading services charge fees, and slabbed coins must be authenticated and certified. Not every coin is worth paying for grading. If you imagine you have something extremely valuable, seek expert opinion before spending money on grading. In simple terms, find your 1980 for pennies, look closely at Lincoln's ear and the lettering. If you see obvious doubling under the ear or in the lettering, you might have the DDO doubled ear variety. That could be worth more than just a cent. If you don't see doubling, you probably have a normal penny worth face value or a small premium at best. I could not find reliable evidence that 1980 for pennies had be errors valued in the $4,000, $18,000 range widely documented, or circulated examples verified at $55,000 plus. If you see a claim like that, treat it with caution and consider verifying the sale record, grade, provenance. The most conservative confirmed high value I found for the 1980 for DDO is $3,910 for MS68 road grade. That's still a very good find, but nowhere near the sensational millions. The typical 1977 penny is not worth millions. In fact, most of them are just worth about the same as their face value, 1 cent, or maybe a few cents extra. For example, coins from 1977 with no mint mark in average circulated condition often sell for around 2 cents to 25 cents. Just because they are common and have been handled a lot, US Coins Guide. Here's how to understand why there's such a gap between just a penny and the big numbers you might have seen on the internet. In 1977, the U.S. Mint produced huge amounts of these pennies. For example, the no-mint mark version, which means it was made in Philadelphia, had about 4.47 billion pieces made. Coin trackers, because there are so many, any regular one with normal wear is very common, so the value stays low. What can make a 1977 penny worth more than usual? Mostly these things: excellent condition, being uncirculated, plus special errors or rarities. For condition, if a coin has never been used in change, so no scratching or wear, and it still looks almost like it did when it left the mint, then collectors call it uncirculated or mint state. Such coins are rarer and worth more. For example, one listing shows that a no-mint mark 1977 penny in MS66 very high grade fetch it around $1,645 at auction. U.S. Coins Guide, and for the S-Mint mark proof version made in San Francisco for collectors, the best example sold for about $7,050, opening parenthesis theengineeringinfo.com. Beyond condition, errors or unusual varieties raise value further. Some of the error types for a 1977 Lincoln cent include off-center strikes, where the design is shifted and part missing, antiques know-how. B die breaks a little raised line between the B and E in LibertyRarest.org. Wrong planchette coins, where the metal or blank used was incorrect, antiques know-how. These are interesting and can boost value, but they are still mostly in the tens or hundreds of dollars, not millions. So why do you sometimes see worth up to $2.46 million claims? A few reasons. Some websites or posts may exaggerate what could be worth rather than what has been documented sold for. Just because a coin could hypothetically be unique, doesn't mean someone actually paid millions for it. There might be a one-of-a-kind error that's extremely rare, and those are hard to verify, and someone may speculate that it could be worth millions if a beer appears. But that's far from a guaranteed value. Many claims don't show a confirmed auction result at that level. The highest reliably documented sales for 1977 pennies are in the low thousands for special high-grade or error coins, rather than multi-millions. Because of this, if you pull a 1977 penny out of your pocket change, it's very unlikely to be worth near to $0.46 million. But you still should pay attention, because even though most are low worth, there might be one worth more if it meets rare criteria. Here's a simple checklist to see if yours might be interesting. Look at the mint mark small letter under the date on the front, or if no letter, then it's Philadelphia. Look at the coin's overall wear. Are the letters crisp? Is the surface free of heavy scratches or corrosion? Check for errors. Is the design off-center? Are some letters doubled or shaky, indicating a double die? Is part of the coin blank or clipped or a weird metal? Compare with images of known error coins. You can find these online. If you believe you have something very unusual, like a major error plus superb grade, then getting it certified by a trusted coin grading service is wise, before assuming big value. Keep in mind that the cost to grade, get it officially evaluated, may be significant. You want to be reasonably sure it's special before spending that money. To give you an idea of realistic value ranges, a regular circulated 1977 penny with no mint mark might be worth a few cents. Uncirculated examples might run into the $1-$20 range depending on how good they look. A high-grade error or proof piece might go into the hundreds or low thousands of dollars. For example, one source lists a no-mint mark MS67 grade at about $240 coin identifier, but again, nothing reliably shows a 1977 penny sold for multiple millions in the public record. So in plain terms, find your 1977 pennies, check them carefully, treat any that look extra nice or weird with more attention. But also balance expectations. Most are just worth what most people think a coin worth a cent, or a little more. The jackpot coins exist, but they're extremely rare. A 1966 penny is a Lincoln cent, showing Abraham Lincoln on the front. It was made in huge numbers, over 2.1 billion were struck that year. Because so many were made, most 1966 pennies are not rare and are still only worth 1 cent, just like when they were made. Now, some people hope their old coins might be worth hundreds or even millions of dollars. You might see online stories that say things like 1966 penny worth $2 million, but that is almost always misleading. Those stories usually talk about very rare error coins, or coins in perfect condition, which are not what most people have. Let's break it down. Regular 1966 penny. If your 1966 penny looks normal, is brown or copper-colored, shows some wear, and came from your pocket or change jar, then it is just a regular penny. Regular 1966 pennies like this are worth 1 cent if it's been used circulated. Maybe 5 to 25 cents if it looks shiny and new uncirculated. In very rare top-grade condition called MS67 red, one sold for $5,750 at auction, but this kind of penny has no scratches, no wear, perfect shine, and is graded by a professional coin service. What can make a 1966 penny worth more? Even though most 1966 pennies are common, there are a few rare cases that make one worth more. These are called errors or varieties. Here's what to look for. Wrong metal planchet. A penny is supposed to be made from copper. But very rarely, a penny might be struck on a metal meant for another coin, like a dime or a foreign coin. These coins are called wrong planchet errors, and if you find one, it can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. To check this, you can weigh your penny. A regular 1966 penny should weigh about 3.11 grams. If it weighs much more or much less, it might be special. Off-center strike. If the design on the coin is not centered like part of Lincoln's face or the words are missing, that's an off-center error. Depending on how far off it is and the condition, it might be worth $10 to $100 or more. Double image called double die. Some rare 1966 pennies have doubling on the date or letters. This means you might see a shadow or second image of numbers or letters, especially on Liberty or the date 1966. This is very rare and hard to see without a magnifying glass, but if you find one, it might be worth $25, $50, or more, depending on how strong the doubling is. Struck through grease or debris. If something like grease or dust was on the machine when the penny was made, it could cause part of the image to be missing or look strange. These are called struck-through errors. Depending on how clear the error is, this might be worth a few dollars. No mint mark, that's normal. You may notice your 1966 penny doesn't have a mint mark, like a small D or S letter under the date. That's normal. In 1966, the U.S. Mint did not put mint marks on coins, so it does not make it rare. So, is your 1966 penny rare? Most likely, no. If your 1966 penny looks normal, has some wear, and was found in your pocket, it is probably worth just 1 cent. But you can check a few things. Does it weigh less or more than 3.11 grams? Is it shiny and perfect, with no scratches? That's uncirculated. Is the design off-center or missing letters? Do the date or letters look doubled? If you answered yes to any of those, then you might have a penny worth more. And it could be a good idea to take clear photos and show a coin expert, or send it to a coin grading service. What should you do if you think your penny is special? Don't clean it. Never try to clean a coin. It will lose value. Keep it safe. Store it in a small plastic sleeve or coin holder. Use a magnifier to look at the details. Compare it online to pictures of known error coins. Websites like PCGS.com and GCcoin.com or VarietyVista.com are good for this. Ask an expert. You can go to a local coin shop or coin show, or post photos in online forums like Reddit's RE Coins or CoinTalk.